You wake up and check your phone. There is a message from a friend. You meet up for coffee. You laugh about something stupid from last week. Maybe you plan a trip together for the summer. Something goes wrong at 2 a.m. and they show up. No question asked. That feels normal. That feels human. But did ancient humans feel the same way? Did they have people they chose? People they showed up for? People they would have carried through the wilderness? Or was all of that invented later? A luxury that came after civilization, after safety, after we stopped worrying about where the next meal was coming from? Here is the thing. The answer is buried in a cave in northern Iraq, and it changes everything. Most people carry around a very specific image of ancient humans. The lone hunter, big club, grunting, surviving on sheer strength and aggression. Every man for himself. Kill or be killed. No time for sentiment. That image is everywhere. Films, cartoons, the way we talk about evolution. And it is almost completely wrong. In the 1950s, a team of archaeologists were digging through layers of rock and soil in a cave in what is now northern Iraq. They expected to find tools, maybe some animal bones. What they found instead was a man, a Neanderthal man, buried carefully in the earth, with signs that someone had placed flowers around his body before covering him over. That alone was remarkable. But when they examined his skeleton more closely, the real discovery began. This man had been blind in one eye. His right arm was withered and almost completely useless. His hearing was mostly gone. His teeth showed extreme wear, suggesting he had been using his mouth to do things his arm no longer could. By every rule of survival in that world, this man should have died long before reaching old age. No painkillers, no medicine, no shelter that someone else built and maintained for him. If you could not hunt, you were a burden. If you were a burden, the group moved on without you. That was the logic of survival. And yet this man lived for years, possibly for decades, after his injuries became severe. Scientists named him Shanidar I. He could not hunt. He could not fight. He could not even hear a predator coming. But someone fed him every single day. Someone stood watch while he slept. Someone chose, again and again, to keep a man alive who could give almost nothing back in return. That is the part that breaks the myth. The strongest individuals were not the ones who survived. The most connected ones were. Think about what it actually cost to keep an injured man alive in a world with barely enough food to go around. Less food for the hunters. A slower group. More risk for everyone. Choosing to care for Shanidar I was not easy. It was not efficient. By any practical measure, it made no sense at all. They did it anyway. Not because they had to, because they chose to. And this was not a random act of kindness. It was the result of something built into the human brain over hundreds of thousands of years. Because here is what most people do not realize about human intelligence. The human brain grew larger over a very long time. And most of that exercise was not used for tool making. It was not spent on hunting tactics or problem solving. It was spent on something far more complicated. Tracking relationships. Who helped you last time? Who owes you a favor? Who you can trust when everything goes wrong? Scientists call this the social brain theory. The idea that human intelligence evolved specifically to manage complex webs of relationships between people, not just family, not just blood relatives, chosen allies, in a group of maybe 30 or 40 people, knowing exactly who you could count on was worth more than being the strongest or fastest person there. A trusted ally could share food with you when you were sick, warn you about danger you could not see coming, stand beside you in a conflict where numbers mattered more than strength. The right friendship was not a comfort. It was a survival tool. And Shanidar I is not the only evidence. Across multiple Neanderthal burial sites, found across Europe and the Middle East, researchers have found the same pattern repeated over and over. Bodies buried with care. objects placed beside them, signs of deliberate preparation that took time and effort. In a world where every hour mattered, choosing to spend that time on someone who was already gone is a remarkable thing. These were not casual gestures. These were acts of loyalty. We cannot say for certain whether every one of these people was a chosen friend rather than a blood relative. But we can say this with confidence. Usefulness was not the deciding factor. Something else was. The same instinct is still running in you right now. The coffee, the texts, the trip you keep meaning to book. None of that is new behavior. It is at least 40,000 years old. When you show up for a friend at 2 in the morning, you are not doing something modern or civilized. You are doing something ancient and primal. You are running the same code that kept your entire bloodline alive through ice ages, droughts, famines, and predators that would make your worst nightmares look manageable. The people who had each other's backs survived long enough to have children, and their children survived because they learned the same thing. The ones who went alone didn't make it. And somewhere deep in your biology, you already know that. That is why a message from a friend at the end of a bad day feels like more than it should. Because it is more than it should. It is ancient. It is survival. It is the reason you are sitting here right now. So next time you send that message, or show up when someone needs you, remember what that actually is. It is not just, being a good person. It is the instinct that kept your whole bloodline alive. Appreciate the people who have your back. Share this video with the friend who would carry you through the Stone Age. And subscribe, because next time, we are going somewhere even older and even stranger. Harry would want that. Probably. He is a caveman. He cannot read this